Ucommerce at a glance. What is Ucommerce, you might ask? Well, Ucommerce is a commerce platform that goes well on top of Kentico and is responsible for the delivery of e-commerce data for your installation. So if you've got a Kentico site, you're all set and you're ready to use Ucommerce. Now, unlike Kentico Commerce, Ucommerce is not a shop-in-a-box solution. It's a platform that requires a developer to set up and build the functionality you want. The reason why we did this is because we realized early on that each project is different, and no matter what, as a developer, you always end up building extensions to the platform you're using. A lot of the functionality every e-commerce shop needs is included in the Ucommerce package in the shape of our APIs. We wanted to make sure that it is flexible enough for a wide range of projects. This is the core concept that Ucommerce has been built to accommodate, the flexibility of adapting and matching your customers' requirements. This is done via the Framework First approach. Framework First is the approach on how we develop new features internally in Ucommerce, namely that everything should be extendable. And we mean everything. This is the feature that we put a lot of time and effort into. It ensures that no matter what new feature we add to Ucommerce, you'll be able to modify its behavior if you do not like the out-of-the-box functionality of it. In fact, you could say that the framework and the extended framework and its extensibility is more important than the out-of-the-box feature in itself. We also want to ensure that the framework is nice and easy to understand, so as part of the process, we try to remove the friction from it. This should end up giving you guys a framework that is easy to understand, has an out-of-the-box implementation ready to use, is fully customizable, and is easily adapted to a multitude of requirements. This also means that everything that is built on the platform can be taken away and replaced with your own components and your own implementations. The underlying reason why we managed to create such a flexible e-commerce platform is because we are using a set of principles that are enabling us to provide you with all this customizability. These principles are called the solid principles. The solid principles are the very first thing we teach every developer when we hire them at Ucommerce. These principles have served us really well over the years, and if you're not familiar with them, you will get a glimpse in the following days. In a nutshell, solid helps us build flexible software that is easy to use and easy to test. I only wanted to touch upon them a little bit now. We would need more time to discuss them at length, which we will do in the deep dive section on day 3. Ucommerce has some underlying concepts which we call foundations. Here are the most common ones that we are talking about when we are demoing the platform. For example, we've got an order management system. Every single e-commerce shop needs to be able to manage, view, change orders. We also have integration. If you have an ERP system that holds your products, we provide you with a product that allows you to convert those products into Ucommerce products. We call it the Uconnector. Uconnector has the ability to run outside the web context of your Kentico site and do integrations directly in the database by using console application or Windows services. Another good example of a foundation would be the social commerce foundation. You want to make sure that your customers are going to be able to express their opinions regarding the products that they've purchased. So reviews become a crucial part of your e-commerce site. This is something that Ucommerce supports out of the box via the social commerce foundation. These are some of the technologies that we use in Ucommerce. Some of them might be familiar to you, some might not. Just want to describe them a little bit, just so you know exactly what you're in for. So let's start with Castle Windsor. Castle Windsor is our dependency injection container that helps us configure the platform, tells us what kind of controller is needed to which purpose, for example, pricing service or shipping service. Castle Windsor is a general purpose tool. You might have heard about other tools that serve the same purpose like AutoFacts or Ninject. Dependency injection is the new black in development. Don't fret though, we will show you how to do it during the masterclass, so you'll get familiar on how the IOC container works and how to work with it. And Hibernate is used for data access. It's an ORM that connects your .NET application to a SQL server. So it will take care of all your data access, execute queries, help you keep your data structured and up to date. This is also something that we will check out in the deep dive part, where we will look at performance. RavenDB is a document database that is built on top of Lucene. We use it mainly for search in Ucommerce, so our facets and our full text search is all based on Raven. As you can see in our top level APIs, we have a Ucommerce API and a Ucommerce runtime. These are some of the static classes that we will use to deliver data for the front end in the category navigation, when calculating price, in the category details, our product pages, etc. We'll show you how to use most of them. Object Factory hooks into our IOC container. It is a wrapper around the container which can provide components we registered in the configuration. It's actually sitting on top and using the business logic that is resolved from our infrastructure layer. Speaking of the infrastructure layer, we can request any component like the pricing service, for example, in the infrastructure layer, and Castle Windsor will then provide us with the necessary implementation of it. To get a better grasp on the flow of the application, here is what happens. Castle Windsor will ask for the component in the Ucommerce service layer. So here. The component will then be delivered back to the top layer. And this is the flow of the application. We'll familiarize ourselves with this layer as well in this masterclass. As you can see in the database access layer, SQL Server is sitting underneath everything. We will need a SQL Server Express as a minimum requirement to get Ucommerce up and running. Then we'll take all the data that we have in the database and index it to Raven, which sits here. RavenDB can be run as either embedded in the site, or we can set it to run as an external application. It's up to you which one you prefer. What we are doing now is taking all of the catalog data and putting it into RavenDB, and then using that for searching and scaling purposes. So hopefully now you have a better understanding of the application overview and how it works. This is what we're going to explore over the masterclass. How do we work with Kentico and Ucommerce in combination to deliver a great commerce site in the end? We need to think about Ucommerce and Kentico as separate systems, since they really are separate systems. Ucommerce cannot handle things in the content structure, so we don't take care of layouts, media items, contacts, and domains, and all that content management stuff. Our strategy is to let the CMS do what it does best, and that is handle all the things it's good at. So if we need a piece of data from the CMS, like an image or a content node, we can abstractize that into a service, which will allow us to grab the data and map it into something Ucommerce understands. In a similar way, Ucommerce will then be able to be the main delivery channel of the catalog data, such as categories, products, prices, everything else that is related to product presentation and the storefront. This also means that Ucommerce doesn't have a say in how you should build the front end. We still rely on the CMS to take care of the URLs, the layout, the media items that you want to relate to the e-commerce data. This also means that when we start on the exercises in a few minutes, you will notice that we are in fact using Kentico quite a lot.